The man removes a piece of iron plate, folded it into a funnel shape, and puts it on top of the iron box, and put the snow on top. The sun's beating down on it, and that's how you make a simple water system. The others kicked out the grooves. They put their suitcases in this shape, hoping to be found by the searchers. But just then, the sound of an airplane engine roaring through the air. The survivors were overjoyed. They've been trapped in the snowy mountains for days. They're finally on the verge of being rescued. But what they didn't expect, the plane was getting farther and farther away, but it never found them. The people were in deep despair. At this rate, they would starve to death. One man had a brilliant idea. If they could find the tail of the plane, then they could take out the batteries and fix the radio, and then they'd be saved. And so it was. The three men set out immediately to find the end of the battery. But when they got halfway up the mountain, there was no sign of the tail. It was getting late. They had to get back to the wreckage. Otherwise, the temperature will drop and they'll freeze to death. Once again, the men are huddled in the cabin. They're facing a huge ordeal. If they don't eat, they'll starve to death. One of the survivors has a bold idea that only by eating their dead companions, that they would have a chance of surviving until rescue. When they heard that, they were very reluctant. But in the face of life, they had to give in. And so it was. With the joint efforts of several people, they finally managed to eat a full meal. And when they had the strength, a mechanic repaired a radio. They were desperate to hear what was being broadcast. It turned out that the rescue teams had stopped searching because no one has ever survived in these mountains. The people were screaming hysterically. It was the end of their hopes. Days went by like this. They're getting used to it. They huddled in the cabin and talked. They seemed to have decided that this was the place to be. But then something happened. Suddenly, they felt something was wrong. It turns out an avalanche has buried them. The first to get out rescued their companions, but when they managed to climb out,